What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for a brand new episode here on Military Mondays. We are back on our AJ-1 Savage, and today we're going to go ahead and move this aircraft into prime, pre-shade, paint, and gloss coat. That's the plan. And I don't know how it's going to go because, well, we won't really know till we get primer on some of those seams, but I'm hoping that we are ready to roll right into priming and painting because I've done a lot of work there on the seams, sanding and filing down and adding in super glue, filler, all that good stuff. So I think we are in a good position to go ahead and start priming and painting. But again, we won't know until we get that first coat of primer down on the aircraft. Then we'll see if we need to come back and finish up any seams. So yeah, still a lot of work to do. We're not out of the woods just yet. So starting off for today, we're going to grab some of our extra parts like wheels, wingtip tanks, as well as propellers. And we're going to start doing a little bit of cleanup and getting them ready for primer. And I've got my references out here. So we're going to grab our jeweler files. We're going to take down some of the imperfections, go ahead and get everything ready to go ahead and mount on a toothpick. And then we can move over to the spray booth and we can start doing some basic priming. So let's go ahead and jump into our first time lapse. We're going to start in on our cleanup. We're going to get some primer done. We're going to do some pre-shade, some top coats, some detail parts. We're going to use some Mr. Surfacer, do a little detail painting, and get this thing ready for our next stage. Let's go ahead and start painting. Alright everybody, we are back, and after quite a bit of time there on the spray booth, we have our Savage all painted up, primed, appreciated, all that good stuff. And we're going to move over now to a little bit of detail work because I've noticed there are quite a few ejection pin marks here on the main wheel doors. We need to go ahead and plug those. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to use our punches. We're going to punch out some discs of styrene. Go ahead and glue those into each of those openings. Then we go ahead and start sealing those up with some super glue, sand them down, and I'm hoping you're not really going to notice them. Now, granted, you're not really going to see them unless you take the model, pick it up, and flip it over, but I know they're there. So what I want to go ahead and do is erase those as best as I can without damaging the plastic. So let's go ahead and grab those discs. We're going to just start punching those out, get them all nicely squared away. And after that, I want to go ahead and move over to some sanding. And again, I think if we go ahead and backfill these with some styrene discs, go over those with some super glue, use some accelerator, get that nicely cured, and then sand it down, we should be able to take it over to the spray booth and apply our interior green. Let's also go ahead and work a little bit on that crew entry door. I need to add in some levers, some handles, some switches and whatnot there. Just the basic parts out of the kit. I do have a photo etch set, as you recall, that does have an insert for this, but that would require me taking off the top layer of all the details and then gluing that photo etch down. And to be honest, the photo etch, well, it isn't really the right color. It's actually a light gray where it should be, at least in terms of my color scheme here, that interior green. So we're not going to be doing that. We're just going to use the kit parts and save that photo etch for maybe another day, or maybe an AJ-2 if Roden ever releases one. So let's go ahead and jump back into the time lapse, and it's going to be a bit of a long one though. I want to go ahead and work on some detail painting, add in all the small parts, and then I want to go ahead and clean up those ejector pin marks there, and finally get this all painted up and gloss coated. So let's go ahead and jump into our last time lapse of the day. We're going to start with some detail painting, and we're going to come in and paint over the interior sections of all these parts, like the door, the wheel bay covers, and then we can go ahead and start installing those, get all of these nicely tacked into place, add in our gloss coat, and get this thing ready for next episode where I'm hoping to go ahead and start applying decals. Let's grab those parts and pieces. Let's get this episode wrapped up. And we are back. I gotta tell you, I've had a lot of fun today getting this aircraft primed, painted, appreciated, all that good stuff. We've got all the parts and pieces glued onto it. We just have a couple extra fidgety parts, so it's in a pretty good shape. And as you can see, we've got our gloss coat on here, and this is going to be pretty fun to go ahead and decal. So I'm hoping those decals function well. As you will notice, everything is covered with a nice coat of Pledge Revive It, also known as Future. It's still in the process of drying and self-leveling, so it's not 100% perfect just yet, but I'm pretty sure that this will be fine. We might have to come back and do a little bit of really fine sandpaper, kind of go over it a bit here and there, because we might have a couple of little particles of dust that might have settled on that, but you can't help it. I work in a garage, and inevitably we've got dust flying around. It is what it is. I think we can handle it though regardless. As you saw, we also went ahead and painted our propeller blades, and we've overcoated those in also a nice coat of Future Revive It. We're going to let these cure as well, and then eventually just attach them onto the aircraft, and we are good for decals and weathering. So that is it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on episode 7. I think the next episode should be the last one here for the Savage. So until then, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on episode 8 for our AJ Savage here on Military Mondays. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.